Today, I'm sitting down with LinkedIn career expert and VP of Communications, Catherine Fisher. Prior to LinkedIn, Catherine worked at Netflix and eBay. In her current role, she offers insights into career development, job market trends, and professional networking strategies. Today, Catherine aims to empower professionals at all stages of their careers by providing practical advice and insights in her newsletter, Career Companion. Catherine, welcome to DITL.
Thanks so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. I know that you flew in for this. When did you get to town?
Okay, so I actually flew into my hometown, which is Santa Barbara, on Monday so that I could see my daughter, who is there visiting my parents for a spring break from college, which I know is funny that my daughter chose to spend spring break with her grandparents and not her mother and father, which I think is funny, but I also think it's awesome because it means that she loves her family.
I love that.
So I flew to Santa Barbara to see her and then just drove up last night.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What do you hit on your ride from Santa Barbara to LA? Are there any hot spots?
No, I was just anxious to get here.
Okay.
All my hot spots are in Santa Barbara. Superica Taqueria, best Mexican place on the planet. I always hit that when I'm in Santa Barbara.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
It is not to be missed.
It was one of Julia Child's favorite restaurants.
Good to know.
Yeah.
What about in the car ride? Are you listening to podcasts, music? Are you making phone calls?
So I have kind of, I'm a little weird in terms of I have tons of rituals and habits that I stick to. So on my way into work, I'm always listening to podcast relevant to the world or work or making phone calls. I always listen to the Daily every day just to kind of understand what's happening in the news. I try to do phone calls to the East Coast since I'm on the West Coast. But then on my ride home, that's when I allow myself to do listen to a book on tape, or do we even say book on tape? An Audible. We used to call it a book on tape.
An Audible.
An Audible, yes. More like a Mel Robbins podcast. Career Contessa is one of my favorites of Dear Media. That would be a listen to the way to work there because it's more professional. So I have this start my day listening to professional content or world news content. On my way home, maybe it's Morbid podcast, which is about morbid stuff, which is an amazing podcast.
I love that, the way that you kind of ramp up and then wind down.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to get into all of that on today's episode. On DITL, we always start at what time do you wake up and how do you get your day started?
Okay, so I wake up at 4:50 a.m. I'm out of bed by 5:08 a.m., so I give myself 18 minutes, which I know they say you shouldn't snooze, but it's the only way I can do it.
What is it about that 18 minutes? How did you get to those numbers?
So I know if I leave my house by 5:08, I can get into my gym class there listening to the instruction by 5:30. I just, for some reason, I need 22 minutes. And the 4:50 just kind of gives me a little bit of a breather, okay, I don't really have to get up now, but I'm pretty consistent. I try to do that 4 days a week when I'm not traveling.
What class are you taking?
Strength training. I really believe in strength training. I know everyone's talking about it, but my reason for wanting to do strength training is longevity and not being frail. And I feel like it makes I just feel better. I've already noticed I can now do box jumps. I never used to be able to do box jumps.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh my
so much
gosh.
fun.
I was doing them in my class this morning.
Yeah, it feels good. You're I have balance.
It's interesting because I do a strength training class and I used to be afraid of doing certain exercises. And one day, one of the instructors was like, let's work on that. Let me help you do that. And I could do it, but I just didn't believe that I could. And so I just didn't. And so having someone there to be like, no, Paige, try this and you can do it. And now box jumps, so easy.
I know, but everyone's so impressed when I tell them I did one.
It's great. So what happens after the workout?
So I come home, quickly shower, dress, and I do intermittent fasting, which is another ritual of mine. So I don't eat, which helps me cut down the time to get ready. And I'm usually in the car by 7:30 to get into the office. I work from home one or 2 days a week. So those days I still try to do the 5:30. I don't like to I want to keep to a 5:30 a.m. schedule because I feel like then it's just a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I start doing 6:30 a.m., then I'm like, oh, I won't go because if 5:30 is too early. So like I try to, regardless of where I have to be, I keep it really early.
I also have found that there's like the people who I see in my class every day.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know that I'm going to see, you know, this person there, whatever it may be. And like the community that you create also is like, I'm showing up and seeing them.
Yes.
And it's a different feeling when you go to a later class and you have no idea who's in there.
I know. You can't be like, look, I just did a box jump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be like, okay.
Those high fives aren't happening.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So 7:30, you're on your way into the office.
Yes. And then I normally get in, go straight and grab a cup of coffee. My preference is to not have early morning meetings. I need time to like transition, go through, see what came in overnight, and just kind of get my like head around what I need to do. I do work with teams that are across the globe, so sometimes it's impossible to not start with an early morning meeting. But it's really about like just quickly kind of getting a scan of what's happened overnight. Where do people need my help and what do I need to like focus on for that day? And my, like in terms of my meeting cadence, it does change, but like some of the things that are constant is like meeting one-on-one with my team members. And so I normally like to stack those in the middle of the week. Monday gives people time to like figure out what they're doing. Middle of the week, then I can help problem solve before the weekends.
How many people do you oversee?
Oh gosh, I should probably know that off the top of my head. 30-ish, I want to say, maybe fewer. I don't keep track of the number, and maybe some people do, but I always feel like I'm less concerned about the size of the team and more of the impact that they're having. And I want to make sure that I'm connecting with everyone on the team. So like I'll do regular one-on-ones with the people who report in directly to me. And then I do like group settings with the rest of the team. But in smaller circles. So what I have found is that when I was doing these big like team meetings, it was me just kind of like talking off of a PowerPoint, which I felt like, I don't know, it just felt like an obligatory meeting. And so I decided to scrap that. And now I just meet in these smaller group settings and we just have like, it'll be me and 3 people. And we'll just talk about like priorities and what they're trying to tackle. And I find that to be much more effective.
And what is your team largely responsible for within the LinkedIn
ecosystem? Yeah. So at the end of the day, we're here to help our members be more successful in their careers. And so what that spans in terms of what I'm responsible for is consumer communications, product, trust, data, and our inclusive communications. So we're all like kind of leading to the same goal, but like our audiences may be slightly different. How we're telling those stories may be slightly different, but it's all in service of helping our members be more successful.
I mean, I have seen such a huge drive towards LinkedIn. I feel like people are spending way more time. It is a business platform. It is a social platform. It is being used in a lot of different networking ways. How have you seen that? You've been at LinkedIn for 12 years.
Yes.
How have you seen kind of some of those changes and how have you seen that, over the last 12 years?
Yeah, I think that, LinkedIn has really become a daily destination for people. It is a place where you go either to connect with someone, look for a job, find information that's going to help you with your job. Like for me, you asked a question of like one of my favorite apps. And of course it's LinkedIn because it really is like the first place I check just to see what's happening. What's happening with my network, what's happening in terms of my industry, the world, et cetera. So I think that it's become, over the last 12 years, it's become much more part of your daily life. Whereas before, people thought of it as just like, oh, you only go there when you're looking for a job. But I think it's become much more than that.
Yeah, right. It's like when you're looking for a job or like when you get a promotion.
Right.
And it really is more of the day-to-day.
Yeah, exactly.
So for you, is LinkedIn the first app that you're checking in the morning?
It is. And, maybe that's biased because I work there, but I do find it really does help me kind of see what is happening in my network. And, but then of course I may go to the New York Times and do the crossword puzzle.
How are you doing there?
I can't do the daily. I'm good with Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, I need the crutch. Thursday, I'm out Thursday through Sunday.
I gave up on it. A couple years ago, I was all in.
Yeah.
And I was every day doing it, probably similar to you, like by the end of the week.
Yeah.
It was absolutely not happening.
Yeah.
But maybe I should give that another try.
Yeah. I've stopped doing the daily because the leaderboard really stresses me out and I'm so competitive and I was losing all the time. So I'm like, I don't need to be a loser in this one.
Are you doing Wordle?
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What's your starter word? Can I ask?
So I also have not been doing Wordle recently.
Yeah.
My starter word used to be pause.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I felt like it gave you 3 vowels to play around with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what my other starter words are. What is your starter word?
I like ado. So many vowels. Yeah. Cloud, trace, I hear is a really good one that like apparently statistically is supposed to be really good. It hasn't really helped me. And then there was another one. I forget what the other one is, but usually it's ado.
And are you doing that at home or are you doing that like once you get to the office? Like when are you like starting to check your phone for the day?
Yeah. I know they say not to, but I do check it first thing in the morning. What I do the like games is when I just need a little pause.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of, maybe I'm in line for the grocery store, right? Or I'm in between meetings and just need to clear my head. I'll just quickly do something.
That's a great go-to.
Yeah.
So walk me through a work day for you.
Okay.
And like, how is it structured? How do you sort of organize your calendar and meetings? Do you do certain things on certain days? What does it look like?
Yeah. So it's funny because I travel so much. I wish I had like a set schedule that I know that every Tuesday I do X, Y, and Z. If I'm in the office, I try to do my one-on-ones like in the middle of the week so that I can help people, figure out what to do. I find that I need like to clear space to think. And so what I kind of have some rules where I like meetings to start at like, instead of 9:00, it's 9:05. Or have it end at 9:25 so that I can get a 5-minute break in between meetings, but I don't like to go more than an hour and a half at a time.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in back-to-back meetings all day, I lose energy. I don't really track exactly, like you build up momentum in the meeting and then you shut it down and then you move to the next thing. So I need to build in breaks. And I think that it's tempting just to try to stack everything in one day. It very rarely leads to more productivity in my mind. I think you need time to think and collaborate, and you can't do that if you're always in these structured meetings. I'm a big believer in delegation. I will delegate anything because I think, for one, it gives other people an opportunity to learn and grow and have FaceTime with someone that maybe they wouldn't have before. And I always have the kind of in my mind, like, okay, how many comms people do you need on a meeting? Like, it's probably one.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't represent, then we need to have a talk about like what the expectations are. Because it drives me crazy when I see like, multiple people from the same team on a call. I'm like, really? You couldn't like
totally
through, like, I'll cover this. I'll, capture the notes on Copilot and send it to you and flag whatever it is that you need.
Yeah. What do you do in those 5 minutes? Those like in betweens, the 9 to 9:05, the 9:25 to 9:30, as you finish the meeting and you are collecting your thoughts, not losing that momentum.
Yeah.
What do you do in those 5 minutes?
I try to walk around. I try to take 5 minutes just to like honestly get some movement in, because I do think that I start to like slowly melt away if I'm sitting for too long. It could be that I'm checking LinkedIn, walking, doing, Wordle for 2 minutes. Like, it's those kind of mind breaks that really help me. So grab a glass. Like, I really do try to get up and walk though. I think that is so important. And because I find if I don't do that, then I just, like, the end of the day, I'm cranky and I don't feel good. And then I haven't hit my steps goals.
I was just going to ask you.
Yes.
Are you trying to hit the 10,000 steps a day, or what's your step number?
So I'm not that ambitious. I'm only to 8,000 a day. But then I also allow myself to do a weekly average, because there's some days where it's just, I don't know why it's so hard to get that many steps in. But I try to do 8,000 a day, but definitely if I don't hit it in a day, then I have to make it up another day in the week.